Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the booth. I am your host, Dan Arita. And we have over here.
Dreaming Tabitha, of course. It's me. It's me again.
And sorry we're late, everybody. But hey, we're here now. And that's all that matters. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching us.
Thank you for subscribing to us, for following. Yeah. I don't know what Dan's going for.
Sorry. I was looking for the merchandise thing. So, speaking of merchandise, merchandising is where the real money of this podcast is made.
What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So don't forget, that's right, it's beautiful. Don't forget to subscribe, vanquish the like button, ding the bell, and be notified for more videos that come your way. So today we have a special guest. Let's say hello to everybody. We got Christian Phantom came on at 6:55. I don't know if he's still here. Dax Morgan, Jacob, Ironside, what's up? We got Josh Qualls. We got David, which we call Mighty Duck. He's here. Hello. And we got Phil, TMNT.
Phil, TMNT, ITB.
ITB, that's right. And we got some lurkers in the background. Not everybody's saying hello yet. Whitey Wicked Workshop.
It's Whitey.
Everybody, don't forget, Dave Whitey is a great prop maker and a builder. Go to his channel and check him out. He's great.
He's all right.
So he's all right. So today we have a great guest. He played. I can't think of the.
He played in
guy's name
Star
now.
Trek. He played One Tree Hill.
Voyager. One Tree Hill. He's been in everything and anything, basically.
He's the famous guy that you don't know is as famous as he really is because he's so famous.
That's right, and you don't know him.
All the bases right
you
there.
do know him all at the same time. So let's welcome him. Manu. I can't pronounce his last name. He'll
We're gonna let him tell you.
So let's say hello.
Hey guys, what's happening? No, it's okay. You know, I was shooting a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio once and Clint Eastwood called J. Edgar, and I was playing this character named Alvin Karpus, who was a famous bank robber. And when I first got on set, Clint Eastwood was sitting in his director's chair, and he daggered me. He looked me right in the eyes, and he daggered me. And he slowly walked over to me, just like he does in the Westerns. And I was like really nervous because it was my first day on set. I didn't know whether to call him Mr. Eastwood. I didn't know whether to call him Clint or Sir or, what was the protocol.
Your Highness.
And he got all the way over. Your Highness. He got all the way over to me. He looked me square in the eyes and he went, "Well, if it isn't Manu, blah, blah, blah." And he elbowed me and then he winked. And I was like immediately just comfortable. It was the coolest thing because I was like, Eastwood just made fun of me, winked, poked me in the ribs. I could immediately call him Clint. I was immediately comfortable on set. It was such a cool thing to do. Just come make fun of me right off the bat. So
see,
I understand.
He knew who you were.
He couldn't say he's a Manu, blah, 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 whatever your last name. Basically, you might do better in this industry if you chose a better last name.
Yeah,
that's the one my mama gave me.
Yeah, so it's Intiraymi. It's Manuintiraymi. It's just it's not that difficult. It's hard to look at, but Intiraymi, same syllable. Well, when you look at it doesn't look like Intiraymi. It looks like Intiraymi. That's what most people say. But Manuintiraymi.
Intiraymi. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where does that originate from?
It's from Argent. Well, it's from a lot of different places actually, but it's the Hindu god of the sun in Peru.
Oh,
and so it's in a lot of the Hindu texts. He was, and Manu was that's strange. Manu was the god of law. So my parents basically just named me God, which is like, quite a lot to live up to.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
No expectations
calls all
there,
at the
you
same
know?
time.
Yeah, they really thought they were incarnating somebody special. So thanks,
Well,
thanks,
hey.
thanks a lot, parents.
You're on our show now, so you are special.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You're inside
I'm in the
now.
booth.
That's
That's
it.
right.
You're in the booth.
God is in the booth.
That's right.
right.
We have God in the booth tonight. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Beautiful.
Wow.
But Manu is like, hand in Latin, and it's also I think a bird or a shark in Hawaii.
Okay.
And the god of law in Peruvian Hindu religion. What are they called? The not the Aztecs, but
Incas?
Incas. There you go. You got it.
That's
You know more about me than I do.
Maybe I researched your name before you came on. Maybe I didn't,
Ah.
and I'm just really intuitive. We'll
Mhm.
never know.
But yeah, the Incas. And so my parents, I was conceived at a festival of the sun called the Intiraymi in Peru. My parents are peace-loving hippies, of course. They were dancing around naked in the 70s down at a festival.
Who
And
wasn't?
yeah, so for some reason they gave me that name.
There you go.
They didn't even give
Okay.
me their name. They just gave me their own thing. God.
That's pretty cool, though.
White
Keeps it
says
unique.
Manu sounds like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of look like him too. Apparently, everything would have gone perfectly because I actually was also named God, and during my, birth, I was having the Buddha's birth. The Buddha was wrapped in his whatever you call that, the nasty thing, the sack that goes over you when you're a baby.
The placenta?
And he actually came out in his placenta, the Buddha. And I was
Okay.
about to. So they were totally right. I was about to. God, it was all set up. Manu Intiraymi. I'm going to be a prophet. It's all happening. And then my dad went, "What is that?" And he stuck his finger and he popped it. And out I came. No more God, no more prophet.
Ruined your
He
chance. You never know
ruined
what
the
could have
whole
happened.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a man.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's great. What a good story.
It is.
Oh my goodness. I bet
It
you
gets
got
much
quite a
weirder
few
than that,
tales.
too.
I was going to say. That is your origin
Sounds like it
story
does.
that basically lays out your life, I guess, from what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
pretty
It
much.
just
You can just go
sets you
deeper
on a
and weirder
course
from
of
there.
curiousness.
Yeah. I was raised in like VW buses where they grew sprouts in the back, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard of a rainbow gathering, but a rainbow gathering is where basically once a year in the national forest of some state that they pick randomly, 30,000 to 50,000 hippies gather and build a forest. I mean, a community in the forest with kitchens that serve food, and
Sounds
we
familiar,
build
yeah.
we build like plays, and we sing around the fire and do drum dancing. It's got a very Native American feel to it. There's no money allowed. There's no tickets to get in. But the hippies also don't like file a permit. So the federal Forest Service agencies and the police are always up there trying to stop it. But this is America, and we can gather peacefully, so they can never stop it. They never do. But it's always a scene because you've got 50,000 hippies on the 4th of July praying for peace and love in the woods instead of shooting off bombs. And, but that was my, they also have regional rainbow gatherings that happen, the next month and the month after that and the month after that. So my parents, because they were broke, would follow all these different gatherings around. And I basically grew up in the woods with naked people.
Nice.
I mean,
like
so
a nomad.
that being
nomad.
said, so if you're, growing up in the woods and with peace-loving hippies, how does that start you on a trek to acting?
I saw some weird things.
You're like, I want to go to Hollywood because that's where all the weird things are.
Yeah. Well, I had to get it out, There was actually everybody loves TV, I guess, in this, the last 9 generations or whatever of decades of people. since the motion pictures came out, they've been fascinating. So when I was 4, actually, I saw Superman, and my parents actually bought me a Superman cape, and we were staying at like a commune house. You know how they have like those communes. My parents actually, while I was in the womb, I think my parents were actually at the commune where everybody committed suicide. What was that place called? Jonestown.
Oh wow!
Pretty wild, right? Or it was. That's the story. I don't know if it's true because I wasn't there. Yeah. So 4 years old, I saw Superman. I jumped out the window of this house because I thought I could fly because they gave me the Superman cape.
Oh,
but it was
I think that's
sometime.
what every kid does.
Yeah, I think that happens to more than. I
Yeah.
think I'm not the only guy that did that.
No, I don't think so.
But right around then, I also saw Peter Pan at the community theater that was in the area, and all the actors started to fly around stage. And I remember being like 4 or 5 years old and watching them fly around on their wires, and just going, "I want to do that." And from that time forward, I harassed my parents to try to move to LA. I knew LA was LA. I knew that was like where Hollywood was and where I could try to get on TV. But they weren't having it. But by the time I was like 17, we had moved close enough to Los Angeles and California that I finished high school and graduated early and just shot right out here. And I was lucky enough to have I was doing a community theater play of a play called Marvin's Room. And I was lucky enough there was a manager in the audience that represented kids or young men. I mean, I was 17, 18 years old. Mm-hmm. Kid now, I'm 44. So I just moved out there. You know, the manager, no, 44 years young.
That's it.
I drive a Magenta.
Right.
So I got lucky, and this manager said, "What are you doing after high school?" I said, "I think I'm going to go to LA." She said, "If you do, I'll represent you. I'll get you an agent." And it was sort of I lucked into, have the easy route. It only took a couple years until I was on Star Trek.
Oh wow.
Oh. Was that your first like big time or like official gig, or?
It was my first steady gig. I mean, I did a movie called Senseless with Marlon Wayans and David Spade that came out before then, and I was terrible. I was terrible in that movie.
That movie wasn't. I mean, that was.
It was all right. It was all right. Little comedy. It's okay, But I was so bad in that movie that I got yelled at on set, and I almost quit acting. And 2 years later,
good thing you didn't.
The long story short is the same casting director 2 years later was casting the part of Icheb, and my agent was with him and talking to him about it and said, "You've got to read this guy Manu Intiraymi, my client. He's perfect for it." And the casting director remembered and got word back from Senseless how bad I was, and my agent was like, he told my agent, "No way, like that guy's terrible. He's not a professional. he doesn't know what he's doing." And I had been on a couple things since then. I did JAG, and I did a show called what was that show called with the cops on the bikes in Venice Beach? Pacific Blue.
Oh, nice.
So I'd done a couple things. I got my wheels under me, so to speak, and my agent convinced him to let me read, and I did well, and got a call back, and then got a call back for Brandon Braga and Rick Berman, the producers of that show, the showrunners, and ended up getting that part. And actually, I was originally auditioning for the other part, the Borg that died in that episode. The first, he was called number 1 in that episode. I was second. But and so I was all depressed when they called. "You don't get the part, sorry, but we have this other character for you that lives at the end of the episode." And I didn't know that they were going to keep bringing me back till the end of the show. So I just was very lucky, I guess, all the way around.
Were you a Star Trek fan at the time?
I was a fan of the film.
Are you even a Star Trek fan?
Still, well, I mean now.
See, we were talking about this before the show. What constitutes being a fan? I appreciate it. I want my geek card. I certainly do. I know that Star Trek the motion picture is like it for composers the greatest score ever, except maybe Star Wars, but they talk about it as like the best score ever. I know that. I know little random facts about Star Trek, so I'm working on it. But then, you know, I there's a lot that you could catch me on that I have no idea about. I watched all the original series movies. I was a fan of those. I was a fan of the films, but I didn't really watch the shows.
Right. Did you like Next Generation, the one before Voyager?
I loved the films, but I hadn't seen an episode of it, but I'd seen First Contact and I'd seen Generations. So, I mean, I knew what I was getting into for sure.
Okay.
I just wasn't a fan of I've never really been a fan of television. I've always been a fan of movies until the last 10 years because television has completely changed. It's like the one thing in America that's gotten better.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. TV has gotten good. We're doing it as a nation.
The budget has surpassed movie budget.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when Game of Thrones had that $20 million episode, like I was down. But at the time, I was mostly a fan of films, not TV, and I would watch a lot of movies.
Okay. That's
interesting. Well, I was going to ask you, since we're on the thing of Star Trek, when you were on there, I was telling Dan earlier, I'm like, how does a person get into character for an unrealistic character? Like, what do you draw from? I mean, because, you know, obviously cyborgs, they're not real. So how do you try to...
As far as you know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There you go. So, like, how do you become that character that is human, not human?
Well, if you're lucky enough to get on Star Trek, they actually take you down to the deep state where there's, you know, all the Black Ops programs, and they take you to Area 51 and they show you all the stuff that they're actually working on. There actually is a ship. So, you know, I walked around it and met the Borg and a couple of different aliens from different planets,
got the inside scoop,
galaxies, and once you're talking to an actual AI, you know, robotic sentient being, it's pretty easy to play one.
Of course.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was great. It was really cool. Secret underground trains back and forth.
Yeah,
you know, all over under the world.
Gotta make sure that the show doesn't get taken down because now all the secrets are out.
Yeah, and they also show you the dark side of the moon. Why do you think they named the space shuttle after, you know, Enterprise? I mean, come on.
That's it.
It all makes sense to me.
If you're on Star Trek, you are in the know, and that I'm spilling it right now and letting everybody know that. You know what? This is a true story. I was sitting at, and this is funny, I was just joking, but of course,
don't tell anyone.
Well, the truth
is it a disclaimer?
Yeah, just joking. You know, you remember when what's his name? Who's the talk show? Jimmy Kimmel asked George Bush, "Do you have any secrets about like what kind of aircraft and things that we have in the sky?" And he went, "Yeah, yes, I do." And then Jimmy Kimmel goes, "Can you share it with us?" And he said, "No, I won't." I thought that was pretty good.
That was simultaneously a great George Bush and Matthew McConaughey impersonation.
A mixture.
Yeah, that's funny. It's true. It slipped into McConaughey.
All right.
Yeah. Numbers. We got to get those numbers up.
but truthfully, playing. You know, it was weird. I was a 20-year-old actor, so I was trying to be method. One of the things that I did is it took 4.5 hours to put that Borg makeup on. So and Icheb was sort of a transitional character because at first he was a full Borg that had a little bit of his memory because he wasn't completely assimilated. So in that first episode, he recognized Seven's hair color is the same as his mother's. He had some memories left. So the first episode, I remember when Scott Wheeler, the makeup artist, was putting on my whole Borg get up, and they would have you hold these electrodes in your hands, and then they would they had glue on your bald cap, and they would shoot the hair onto the bald caps, and it would stand up because you were actually holding electrodes. So it was like really complex makeup. It was a full body suit. It was uncomfortable. There was lights and gadgets that you had to turn on to blink and beep and stuff.
Oh my goodness!
So it was a 4.5 hour process, and so I would close my eyes for a lot of it, and just keep telling myself that I was being assimilated, and try to close my mind off and just lose my memories and let go of myself. And I did a whole lot of weird stuff like that to try to find him. But then as the writing, and then after like the first episode of Icheb,
was the makeup a little bit claustrophobic? I mean,
it was weird because they had a thing in my nose piece was, especially when I was a Borg, they had this big thing here and here. And when you walk around like that, it messes with your depth perception. I couldn't see very well here. Yeah, it was weird and claustrophobic and uncomfortable. And I mean, it's not fun. I realized, like, we only shot, I think, 8 days on that episode. But the places where my costume, where my human parts were still sticking out because I was half assimilated, they would rub against you, and so you'd get this really bad chafing sort of like rash at the end of the day, and you'd have to put ointment on it and stuff. So, like, I realized that actors that, like the guy that played Neelix, Johnny Phillips, Ethan Phillips, I mean, that guy, I couldn't have done that. I don't know how he did that every day for 7 years. And you're working 12 to 14-hour days because Star Trek was a really long shoot. It was just that kind of show. They had to pump out 23 episodes back then, and they had to do it in, I think 8 months or 6 to 8 months. And so it was like just long hours and hard shooting schedule. It's and to like wear thick makeup. Episodes. No. Yeah, right. I mean, 8 episodes. That's it. What? Actors can do like 3 shows a year. Like you see some actors who are on that show and that show and that show.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I forgot the question. I forgot what I was talking about.
Oh, we were just talking about how you got into character, and it's interesting how the makeup process helped get you into a character. That's a great way to think about that. Yeah.
And then when he became Icheb and he got his memory back and he slowly became more and more human, which they'd told that story before, by the way. I wasn't the first. They did that with Hugh Borg. They did that with 7 of 9 and the captain slowly brought her. So they kind of recycled that story a few times, but I was happy to be number 4 or number 3 or whatever it is. But the writing, like for the first 3 episodes that he was Icheb, he was sort of just kind of like a bratty kid. And then they did an episode called Child's Play where they let him develop. And I slowly got to discover who he was. He was a kid that his parents were total a-holes and sent him back to the Borg and put, a Borg virus in his bloodstream and sacrificed him as a sacrificial lamb to keep their planet safe. So he was like, he definitely had daddy and mommy issues.
Right.
And, as the writing progressed, they just did more and more for him. And as I would learn more about him, I felt like every episode I'd be a better Icheb or a more rounded character. I was kind of bummed because, I came on at the middle of season 6 and I was on I think 12 episodes to the end of season 7. And I sort of felt like I was just finding who he was when the show ended.
Crazy. How many, did they ever do another episode with you in it then? Or
they did another episode with my character in it, but they hired a new actor and they killed him violently.
Ooh. Spoilers, anybody?
Yeah, spoilers.
Oh, come on! If you've seen Picard, it was 2 years ago. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I guess I'm not really much of a Trekkie.
He's
fan.
not much of a Trekkie.
Sorry.
I'm a next gen gal, all the way.
It's all right. Do you know what happened? I mean, I'll just be honest. I don't care. I'm not scared of cancel culture or social media. They've done enough to me at this point. Okay. What I did is I defended Kevin Spacey when he
Oh,
when he first got
when they
accused
him. Yeah.
And it was an emotional outburst. I called Anthony Rapp a pussy and said, sorry if I can't use that word on your show. Sorry. But I said, I said, hey, I basically said on Twitter, that's not rape. That's a guy trying to kiss you and you pushed him off and that's not rape. And I pissed off a lot of people. And the next day I watched the news and I saw that all these men were coming out about Kevin Spacey and all these boys at a theater company that he worked at in London that he had abused, and that it wasn't just a one-time thing with when he was 28 and Rapp I think was 16. And so I apologized profusely, but once you say something brash,
the internet's forever. The
internet takes things and they
But to Anthony Rapp from Star Trek was wonderful. He accepted my apology publicly and understood that it was an emotional reaction, because I knew Kevin and he'd never done that to me. I didn't know him well, but when I first moved out to Hollywood, he gave me some advice on how to get an agent and made some phone calls for me, and I didn't have to do any sexual favors for that. So, and I was hot when I came out here.
For the record, right?
For the record.
Let the record show.
But I think there's still some people that are very mad at me for that, and it's my opinion. It's not a fact, but it's my opinion that they killed the character because of my faux pas on social media, because they didn't call me. You think they would have called me and said, hey, we're gonna give Icheb one last episode, and I would have been like, cool, I want to say goodbye to that character, but they didn't even call me. So
no, it's pretty popular nowadays for them to not even be professional about that and just totally
One more thing, they put me in a red shirt and they ripped my eyeballs out. And the only thing that Icheb said, not mine, the actor that played Icheb on Picard, he said, and they pulled his eyeball out, and then 7 of 9 came in, and he goes, "Mommy," and she shoots him with a phaser, and ends his life because to let him not suffer.
Okay.
And I thought, wow, that's a message sent directly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sorry, Manu.
Yeah.
You're dead to us now.
Yeah, you're dead to us. I was like, okay.
Whoopsie.
But I don't know.
Sucks.
Maybe I deserve.
But you were wearing the red shirt. See, that's if anybody knows anything about Star Trek, guys,
you knew
red
he
shirts.
was. Yeah, he was done.
You were destined to die anyway.
Like in a red shirt on a table, and the first shot is this guy pulling his eyeball out.
Oh my gosh!
So like,
that's kind of gory for a TV show.
Yeah, it's terrible for me too, because I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my friends who I think are going to get Icheb brought onto the show because he fit the plot line and the time. And they were telling me, they weren't sharing with me what was going to happen to him. They were like, yeah, we're working on it. We're going to try to get you on. And I was like, okay, cool. So I thought I was going to come back to Star Trek. I'm sitting there watching episode 5. And as it happens, I'm going, that guy kind of looks like me. And I'm like, nah, it couldn't be. And then they ripped his eyeball out and killed him. And 7 says something to the effect of, I'm sorry, Icheb, you were like a son to me, or something like that. And I go, did she just say Icheb? It was so hard to watch. It was like, it was like getting stabbed in the heart.
Yeah.
I guess that's something you can laugh at now, right?
Cancel culture is the real deal, kids.
Not if you beat it. And I think you've done that, so
Well, I am moving forward, and I'm still working. So
exactly.
But if they called, I'd come back.
Well, that's
Star Trek.
Hey, Star Trek.
I keep telling people online, I'm like, that was just a clone.
There you go.
Icheb was a genius. They made a clone. He made a clone of himself so that they would target the clones, and he could safely. Because in the plot line, they're trying to get Borg parts from all the different people that have been Borg. So I'm like,
okay.
Icheb's brilliant. He would make like 40 of himself, and he would.
Oh,
he would
plus
hide.
it's science fiction. There are no
science
rules.
fiction,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I'm
They
like,
could
the guy-
easily
come back anyways. Yeah.
a black hole, and all of a sudden you're in a time warp, and suddenly, hey, there you are. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's Icheb.
And then in season 2, they brought Q back.
Ugh.
And Q2 was like my best friend, or Icheb's best friend. I don't relate to myself as Icheb. I keep saying mine.
Right.
But so when they brought Q back, I'm like, oh, maybe they'll just snap their fingers and Q2 will bring his friend back. But that didn't happen either. I'm a loser.
No, don't say that.
You're wearing a Mandalorian shirt.
I
That
know.
show is so good.
It is good.
It is.
Oh, it's so good. How
I don't like
brilliant.
what they did to Boba Fett though. The Boba Fett show sucked.
Well, once they brought the Mandalorian onto the show, it was great.
Yeah,
That's right. Exactly. That's what everybody's
I didn't want
saying.
to see the Mandalorian on Boba Fett. I want to see Boba Fett, but they didn't really do him any justice.
I don't
So-
think they did a terrible job. I
It wasn't
too was
terrible,
not like
but it
I wasn't as impressed as I
Yeah.
was with the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
because the
Mandalorian's
Mandalorian
great.
is
Yeah.
such a good show.
It is.
Um,
It definitely
But
is.
it's what they, the concept of Mandalorian is what makes it so brilliant. You've got
Right.
one character and his little buddy, and they're in the Star Wars universe, and he can go wherever he wants in the galaxy. So you can do episodes about anything. They did that little nod of their hat to Alien in the ice cave.
Yeah.
Remember when the little aliens came out?
Yep,
Um,
little spider things. Yeah.
And then they have a story that kind of connects the episodes together, but mostly it's kind of an anthology series with the same
Right.
character.
Right.
And I think that's brilliant. And so they could target all, Jon Favreau could call all his buddies that are the A-list directors and be like, "You want to do an episode? You want to do an episode?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it was
It's-
fresh
I-
because it was not a character anybody was familiar with, but they were familiar with what a Mandalorian is or what they
Yeah.
are. And so same thing with Baby Yoda. He's not actually Yoda, but we're familiar with the species. So it's just brand new characters, nothing tied in the beginning, nothing tied to the Skywalkers. So it was just fresh. And then it suddenly
and then
wasn't.
to take the risk of having your star in a helmet. Like
Yeah.
that was the big risk. I'm like, I can't believe they pulled that off so well.
So
Yeah.
well,
That actor,
I
Rico,
I
what's
wish
his
I was
name?
him.
He's an amazing actor. I forget
Who,
his name.
Pedro
right now.
Pascal?
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. There you
Like
go.
I don't know if it's him under the mask, but I tend to think it is because
A lot of times
just
it was. For the
what he
action
do-
scenes, I think not so much.
not so much, yeah. But the emotional moments, just what he does with the tilt of his head under that mask,
Yeah.
it's like it's incredible, that show. I'm a big
Pretty-
fan.
Yeah.
Pretty
Definitely.
cool. For sure.
I actually have. Oh, I can't say that. I can't say that he worked on that show. Never mind.
Oh,
I have a talented makeup artist friend that's working on a movie of mine.
Oh, sweet.
He worked on other shows too.
Well,
Not sure what ones they were, but
not to be vague or anything, but
So what is your next movie that you're working on?
I've been
you
working
say?
on a movie. Yeah, I've been working on a movie called Star Crew, The Night of the Christmas Massacre. And it's basically Galaxy Quest meets Shaun of the Dead.
ooh,
Um,
we're big
it's-
Galaxy Quest fans.
I love
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest. So it's basically there's this show called Star Crew, and it's your typical science fiction spaceship show. More like Serenity, less like Star Trek, more like Star Wars,
Nice.
less like Star Trek. It's like a gang of people. If you join Star Crew, you have to be like sort of like a Mando. You have to be a rebel that is
Okay.
prove themselves out there in the cosmos doing cool things, and then you can join Star Crew. They're sort of a grassroots organization,
Gotcha.
But they've been on the air for 20 years. Star Crew, the motion picture is coming out, and at the premiere party, this thing called a Pelorian Rift opens. And a Pelorian Rift, the basis of the movie is everything that we write as human beings, or every story that we tell, is real in the galaxy somewhere. The multiverse is infinite. So aliens are real, Star Wars is real, somewhere out there. So a Pelorian Rift opens between the multiverse, and the villain from the film, who's this sentient zombot, he's half zombie, half robot. and he's 10,000
I
years
like
old,
that.
and he
Zombot.
has Zombot. Yeah, he has an army of Zombots with him, and they realize that they've been fighting Starcrew in their universe all the time, and Starcrew kicks their ass every time, right? So they realize through this Pelorian rift that opens and connects our Earth universe with the universe of Starcrew. They come to the premiere and start slaughtering the actors, and they're going to kill the showrunner and the writer and all the actors. Luckily, the actors have a person on their show that's kind of like a Q, but he's called a time continuum manager, and he's got himself cast on Starcrew to try to close this Pelorian rift and find out why it opened. And the actors go through the rift, and they have to go try to find the characters that they play in their universe to help them beat the zombies back at home. And it's a full-on Galaxy Quest comedy. We don't take ourselves seriously, but it's super fun. I've been working on it for 5 years.
Yeah,
we're shooting the first short proof of concept June 18th and 19th at Laurel Canyon Studios in LA. So coming right up here. And so if you're listening to the show, if you happen to be in the LA area around that time, we're looking for Zombots. We need a horde of Zombots. So if you want to come and shave your head, you have to shave your head. That's the little, that's how, this is going to be, that's why no one's going to show up. We're going to get like 20 people. But
CGI,
But if you want to be a Zombot, Scott Wheeler will dress you up, and Scott Wheeler has worked on some of the coolest stuff in the world, from Star Cruise to not Crew. He's working on Star Crew, from Star Wars to Star Trek, etc. He's one of the best makeup artists in the business. He'll hook you up, let you play a Zombot. June 18th and 19th, Laurel Canyon Studio.
Ooh. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and then I'm acting in another film next month called Vice and Virtue, playing a vegan hitman.
Ooh,
is it a reason that it's got to be a vegan hitman, or is it just part of the character? Like, is that as far as is it an important element to the character?
Yeah, it really is. He's constantly going off about vegan recipes and the best vegan restaurants to eat at, and why everybody should be vegan. But he kills humans. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
But the movie is called Vice and Virtue, and it's actually about these two gods, Vice and Virtue, having a contest on Earth to see who has the bigger control over mankind and womankind.
Okay.
Vice or virtue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, what do actors do in between jobs that keeps them like ready for the next gig? Like, I was thinking kind of like athletes, in between games, the Olympians and things like that, they're exercising. Do actors have something like that in between jobs? When you're not actually being paid to do something, how do you keep that up?
If you are unlucky enough to be an athletic actor, then yeah, you're training 24/7. And I am. So I've sort of gotten lucky enough to only have to buff up a couple of times for movies. And like right now with my injured shoulder and for getting ready for Vice and Virtue and the short that I'm doing, Star Crew, I hit it's 4 days a week with the trainer, and you've got to kind of keep in shape. I don't consider myself like a thrilling, beautiful human being, but I'm good looking enough that I sort of get those parts where you have to kind of be in shape at least a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So like guys like Mark Wahlberg, though, like the hunks, those dudes, they work 16 to 18 hour days. And when they're not shooting, like that last movie he did with the swords, I forget what it was called, reincarnated all those different people. But that guy lives an insane schedule. He's got like 6 different businesses that he runs. He's in the gym every single day. He's on all sorts of all the best supplements and trainers and nutritionists and the movie stars like Chris Hemsworth, etc. Those dudes are working hard.
Yeah. Speaking of Mark Wahlberg, if anybody is out there watching, we actually did a review for Father Stew. Was it a week ago?
Last week. Yeah.
Yeah, people can
Cool.
go check that out.
So is
He's
that
a
what
really
Good
nice guy.
is that
Yeah,
then
very nice.
essentially what actors do in between gigs is just basically maintain their figure or sculpt their figure for the next project? I mean, is there anything else that they do?
Well, actors that have to play those roles,
Okay.
you know, there's a lot of actors that don't have to stay fit, or you know, that's not their type.
Right.
And those lucky guys get to just, you know, sit around and watch TV and
I was gonna say
audition
people
for the
like
next-
Jack Black. What does he do in between gigs? Like, what's
Yeah,
keeping
he
him busy?
writes songs with his buddy and
Right.
smokes pot and plays video games. You know,
Okay.
it's true. I mean, that's what Jack Black does.
Okay.
But he, you know, he's a really talented guy too. He's working all
yeah.
the time, so he's
Yeah.
always he's always playing another role and tuning his instrument. Acting isn't like riding a bike, that's for sure.
Okay.
After COVID, the last movie that I did before COVID, I produced this movie called Hell on the Border, and I hadn't worked for a while when I produced that film. It was with Ron Perlman and Frank Grillo and company. I played a role in that film that I'm not really that proud of because I was producing the film and I came on last minute and I was really stressed out about the money and the team and the schedule and getting everybody help to the right places that I sort of let my guard down in the performance. I don't think I was
Okay.
terrible. I mean, if you watch the film, I'm not terrible.
Is
But
that like a Western movie?
Yeah, it's about
Sounds
Bass
Western.
Reeves.
Okay.
You know who Bass Reeves was?
No, I don't.
Bass Reeves was the first African American U.S. Marshal. This
Oh,
guy,
okay.
this guy was a U.S. Marshal 3 years after the Civil War. Can you
Okay.
imagine that?
That's
You're a
great,
black
yeah.
dude 3 years after the Civil War being a U.S. Marshal. Like that dude had to be hard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was an incredible figure, and a buddy of mine wrote a film about him, and we were lucky to get some good actors that signed on. Bass, like he even wore his guns. I don't know what you call it when they're facing the other direction, like Doc Holliday, and you draw like that.
Okay.
Just to look scary, maybe. I don't know why he did that, but
Probably.
yeah. But so I produced that, but then COVID happened and nobody was working for 2.5 years. And I did a couple little parts once people started working again. And it's if you're not at least working a couple times a year, you really lose a lot of the camera technique and just being comfortable in front of a camera. And, you know, it's like some actors you can see, the movie stars, that they're kind of the same. Their talent hasn't progressed. They sort of have that thing that works for them, but they don't become better. They don't become character actors like a Johnny Depp or
Right.
What's that guy's name? I love him so much.
Mel Gibson.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Mel Gibson's wonderful too. But Daniel Day-Lewis, you know, he's always a different person on screen. It's like, where did Daniel go? And you get to see this new character. So some actors are constantly working on their accents, on their, you know, all the different things, on their looks, on their changing their body shape. You know, some people put on a ton of weight for roles. Some people take off a ton of weight. But there's always something to work on. Like, for instance, I got my motorcycle license recently. I got my stunt driving license recently. I wish that I would have. This is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to go take a bunch of sword classes so that I can know how to do, you know, swords in films, and I can actually swing a sword decent. So if that opportunity ever comes along, I can say, yeah, I can do that.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Put it on the resume, basically. Is that something that actors do too in between? It's just like random hobby, like pursue random hobbies. Just
learn how to ride a horse, learn how to stunt drive, learn how to ride a motorcycle. Like all the things that might possibly get you a role. Just you know, music. If you're musical, that's why they call people that can dance, sing, and act a triple threat, because they have the opportunity to do all of that stuff.
Okay,
Nice.
That's interesting. I find that so fascinating.
Yeah,
it's pretty.
And then you know, and some actors, you know, just wait tables until the next gig comes along because you have to.
Yeah, gotta pay the bills somehow.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, 20 years ago, even like little actors, that there used to be so much more money in it. ever since the digital camera came along and content went streaming and all these, there's so much content out there now.
Yeah.
You know, when I did Voyager, I got paid $10,000 a week as a nobody, as like the guest star on the episode.
Oh wow.
Now it's like 3,500, which is the typical, like this. That's as low as they can pay you if you're in the union.
Oh, okay. Now, what if you're not in the union? Can you?
Oh, they can pay you lower.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, but they have to Taft-Hartley you, which means they have to put you in the union after they hire you.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, that sounds strange. That's too bad.
Yeah, it's tough because there's a lot of great roles out there in non-union films, and once you're in the union, you can't do them or they kick you out. So, and once you're in the union, there's not a lot of great roles because the union pictures are sort of, you know, the A-list actors are sort of taking most of those jobs, and so, you know, it's tricky. It's a tricky business, that's for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Sounds like it. A lot of stuff you don't know about or don't think about. It's not publicized necessarily, so you just, as the average fan, you don't think about.
You know, there's a great show called The Offer, and this is not about actors, but this is a little bit about actors, but it's about the making of The Godfather. It's on Paramount Plus, and if you ever wanted to know what it's like to produce a movie, watch The Offer, because it really gives a real look into what it's like behind the scenes, trying to get the money together, trying to hire all the right people, trying to get the right actors attached, trying to get it shot in the right city, trying to get the unions in the city to let you shoot where you want to shoot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a really fun show. Crazy story about a second-time producer. The guy that produced The Godfather it was only his second movie, and he got involved with the mafia in New York to keep the movie going.
Oh God!
So it's
dedication.
Yeah, well, it was his only choice, really. If you watch the show, you'll see it's a really nice peek into like how crazy it is to try to make a movie for a living, even when they have. And that guy had millions of dollars, so you know I make indie films. Yeah, and when you only have a few $100,000 or a couple million, it sounds like a lot of money, but when it comes to renting a techno crane and big lights and having to get a crane to haul those lights on top of a building and hire all the people to set up the lights and the cameras and the CG artists and the sound people and the composers and the wardrobe catering and there's literally thousands, you know, even on an indie film, there's hundreds of people that have to work for you to give you their best to finish a product that you can actually, you know, get people to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes, I think sometimes the indie B movies are probably somewhat better once in a while, you know.
Every now and then,
different, you know. They're
they have more heart into it because they have to make it good because they don't have the budget to be able to not afford to make a bad film. So it's a little bit more passionate, I think.
There usually is a bit, there's usually more story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because these big budget films can just blow your mind with visuals, you know.
Right.
Like I'm a huge fan of John Wick. Don't get me wrong, I love that franchise, but that's just like beautiful violence for a couple hours and a guy trying to get his dog.
It's the same moves over and over again. All of a sudden you start watching, you're like, he did that, he just did that, oh, he's doing it again, he's doing it again. And I mean, we love seeing, you know, Keanu Reeves be good at what he does, but it's like I just watched him do that 7 times in the last hour.
And I love it too because his lines in that movie are like, and no,
and
whoa.
And do you think he like stares in the mirror practicing his gas? You know, it's like it's not even like it's not even a sentence. You know, exactly.
No. No. Yeah, dude. And
he'll probably think, wait, no, that's too Bill and Ted. Got to tone it down.
That's too Bill and Ted. Got to tone it down. Yeah.
In the mirror all day long.
That would be a little
That's
video. That would be a little video snippet that would just go mad on YouTube. I would love to see him in the bathroom practicing. Yeah, numerous times.
I think that's how Keanu's mind works. I think when he's like walking down the street, he's like, "Do I want to cross the street? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah, I do, dude. No. No, you don't want to go over there. Yeah, you do. I do? Yeah. And then he walks, you know.
That's this conversation with all different personalities that are the same person in his mind.
Yeah. It's just Bill and Bill arguing over, you know. Should you take this role? No, dude, you don't want to take that role. Yeah, you do. They'll pay you, dude. Oh. You know.
You're doing great. Yeah, we got George Bush, Matthew McConaughey, and now an excellent Keanu Reeves.
That's it.
I think Keanu. I actually love Keanu Reeves. I think he's a great actor. A great movie star.
Good,
he's a great movie star. He's not a character actor. Like he's not like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Kind of the same person,
Right.
yeah.
But I love him. I love him when he's doing his action thing. I'm a big fan of that guy. So.
Mm-hmm.
I heard he's very nice and down to earth too. So
I only met him one time at a party, but he was super sweet to me. So
nice.
He was like, "Should I be nice to this guy?" Yeah.
No, wait, do we know him?
Do we know this guy? I don't know, dude. Do we? Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's be careful then. Okay.
Here's your word. Oh my gosh, that's great.
That's funny.
And he was so beautiful. I mean, I was right up next to the guy, and I'm like, man, this guy is good looking. I don't know how Keanu got to be that good looking. It's just not fair. It's not fair.
Some
even as like a 50-year-old dude, he's just sexy. I mean, you can't dream. You can't. I mean, you just can't not see it. The guy's.
I think it's a different kind of attractiveness because he's not like a lot of those actors who are just nothing but beef. You know, they're nothing but just like hot muscular dude. Yeah. You know, which is fine, but he brings something a little different to the table. He brings, I think, a little bit more personality to the table.
Charisma. Probably some of his charisma.
A different kind of charisma, though. He's just kind of a little bit somber at the same time, and so he's mysterious.
He's got a soft, mysterious, spiritual thing going on.
Yeah.
I rode my motorbike across America. I thought about stuff and wrote poetry.
It's a different appeal. Yeah. Exactly. And you know, if it's true, he loves dogs, and of course, I mean, that just ups it. You know.
Of course.
He loves dogs that much.
Did you hear the story about the lady that was stalking him and broke into his house a few times?
No.
And he was totally nice to her too. That's the story. Like,
is he Canadian?
I don't know, maybe. Like, she broke in once and he just sat with her and got her some tea and just waited with her and talked to her while the cops showed up and see you later. Don't come back, please. But,
please.
But then she came back and he was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing again? Well, cops are on their way, but you want some coffee?"
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Which I guess is what I would do too. If stalker
Like if
showed up in my living room, I wouldn't treat them mean. That's for sure.
I'm not sure how I would react.
I
probably would not offer them a hot beverage. Let me just put it this way.
I don't. I wouldn't make them feel comfortable. It's
a little too mellow for me. Like, what the heck are you doing here? Let me get my stick and beat you. No.
Do you mind if I just search you real quick?
Right.
Okay.
I'll make sure you don't have any weapons on you.
Now I feel safe. Would you like some tea?
Right, exactly. Oh my gosh.
If they're not like attacking you or trying to hurt you, then I just ask them, "Can I pat you down?" And then you're all right if I call the police. Right?
Yeah. Are you okay if I call?
Yeah. And if not, if they say no, then you run.
Right.
We all wish we could be that chill if somebody broke into our house.
But that's Keanu, right? Somebody breaks into his house. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Oh my gosh.
Go inside that phone booth over there. Go back.
I love Bill and Ted. I was so happy
Oh, me
that that
too.
third one finally came out.
I haven't seen it yet.
I watched it the second time recently because the first time I was a little disappointed because it wasn't perfect like I wanted it to be. But when I watched it the second time, I was like, no, this is actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
So,
I
It's
haven't
decent,
seen the
right?
second
Yeah, it's
one
fun.
yet. I just discovered this franchise last year.
you haven't seen
And-
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
No, and I want to
Oh.
so badly. So because I saw the advertisement for the third movie, and I was like, it's
Right.
Keanu Reeves, so naturally I was excited. And then my brother told me, he's like, yeah, that's the third installment. He's like, yeah, you need to watch the first one, and he told me about it. So we watched that movie together, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. It was stupid in an excellent way.
In an
And
excellent
so then when my brother started telling me about the second one, I watched the trailer for it, and I just died laughing watching the trailer. I'm like, I've got to see this movie, and it's on my list. I need to because I think it's great. I think
The
it's
second one
hilarious.
is the best film, hands down. It's so
What
good.
is it? Is it Satan playing hopscotch or something like that, or Death?
Death.
That was what is
They-
Death playing
yeah.
hopscotch. I was like, I just
They-
lost it.
Yeah.
I just lost
They
it.
challenge Death to all these games to try to get out of hell.
Nice.
So
It's a really good movie. You should see it. Bogus Journey.
I will.
Classic. And then we all thought that like Bill and Ted 3 was coming on. It took like 20 years for the
Right.
Bill and Ted Face the Music to finally come.
Wild
And it was
Stallions.
And now they're
it's
old
really
people.
Yeah,
Old
but-
people doing it. It's fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was such a nostalgic feeling to
Right.
like. Same thing with Ghostbusters. When Ghostbusters,
Oh.
when I got to see Bill, even though they were only in it for that 5 minutes or whatever, just to see Bill and Aykroyd and all those guys back.
Yeah.
And I won't ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but the way that
Oh, you
they
can. We've already done that.
We've already reviewed it here.
okay. The way that they tipped their hat to their fallen comrade was so
Harold
beautiful.
Ramis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harold Ramis. Yeah, I loved it.
Without
So
going
much
too
pride.
over the top. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like we can't do this film without him, and I'm
That's
like,
it.
and they had the you know now they have the ability to do that. And
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
you know who
so
you know who
sweet.
played him, don't you? It was Ivan Reitman who played.
Ivan
Harold.
Reitman played
Yep,
him?
yep.
Oh, that's cool.
And rest in peace to him too. He passed away too, not too long
Did he
ago.
really?
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
No,
Yeah,
I auditioned for Ivan Reitman once for a movie called Road Trip. You
Oh,
remember Road
really?
Trip?
Oh,
Yeah.
I auditioned for Road Trip, and he was. I was supposed to play a kid that they actually cast this kid that wasn't very hippie, but he was written to be hippie, and then they decided not to do that. That's why I didn't get the part.
that's
Oh.
too bad. With all your upbringing, you would have had that.
I know, right? You could have grew your hair out long and had a nice long beard and be like, "Yo, man," or some.
Yeah,
They've been
but
like,
it was one of my Hollywood moments that I cherish, just because it was Ivan Reitman in the room.
Right.
And it was really funny because like I was so bad in the audition that his phone rang, and he actually took the call.
Oh,
Oh man.
So I'm sitting there doing the audition with the casting director, and he's just talking on his phone, ignoring it. And I was like, I don't know if it was like something he did to every actor that came in just to as like a weird test,
Mhm.
or whether he just was like, nope, not that guy. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
How do you recover from a moment like that as an actor in an audition? Is there like how do you keep going? Or
These days, I would be like, dude, are you gonna watch the audition? Should I wait for you? Because I
Okay.
will. Back then, I was like 21 years old, 22, and I was
Mm-hmm.
still very nervous. But yeah, if a producer took a phone call during an audition, I'd just be like, go ahead, take the call. I'll pause too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd call him on it. I think most
Right.
most professionals would, because it'd be like, are you kidding me? You're taking a phone call? All right.
right.
I'll play on my phone too.
Yeah, well-
You know?
Yeah, because it is kind of disrespectful. I mean, you're there to showcase
Yeah.
your talents to that person, and they're not
Yeah.
even paying attention to you. You're like, I could be somewhere else trying to get another
Yeah.
job. Like,
And I was 22, and I was like, it's Ivan Reitman. I want to show you what I can do. And he was just like, nope. Blah, 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 blah.
how
it might have
do
been a
you
test.
know if
Right.
your audition has gone badly? Like you yourself, how do you know?
You don't.
You don't.
Not
You really
until
don't.
after.
You really don't. All you can know is there's only like 2 jobs that I think that you need to do as an actor when you go into an audition. Do what you came in there to do, the performance that you prepared, be confident, and just knock it out.
Okay.
And no matter what happens in that room, that's your only real job. So if you feel inside like you did what you wanted, that's all you can do.
Okay.
So
Did
even
you-
if a lot of times they won't say anything to you. Like you'll go in, you'll read only once, and they'll say thank you very much, and you'll leave. And
Okay.
those are the ones that I'm usually like, damn, they probably didn't like me. But I've booked jobs that ended like that, and 6
Okay.
hours later they're like, they loved you, you got the part. And so you just never know. You just have to know inside that you did what you wanted.
Because you had mentioned before when you were acting, like you knew when you were doing a bad job in a role. Is there a difference there? How do you know you're not doing a good job?
You know if you bomb. Like if you really rehearse to do something really well, and you've rehearsed it, and you felt the energy, and you really think you've got the scene, and then you have a really bad read, inside.
Okay.
You almost want to beg the casting director, can we do that again? That was so terrible. I totally
Right.
didn't do what I wanted to do. But that also doesn't work, because that just makes you look
Desperate or
needy and
something,
desperate and unconfident. So you just sort of got to roll with the punches and pretend you did well. And you'd be really surprised. Some people think that you did well when inside you didn't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But people never, people watching your performance never know what's going on inside. So you might have had a bad read, and at least you think you did, but the person watching might have loved it. So that's why I say they just be confident, go in there and do the best you can do, and let it go when you leave the room, because otherwise you're just wasting, energy on something.
Have you ever had an audition where you just like they just knew that they wanted you? Like they were like, you're the one.
Yeah. I've had an audition where I got the job right there in the room. I've had an audition where I bombed so bad, I was horrible. I thought I totally blew it, and I got the job.
Okay.
I've had lots of auditions where I was like, bam, nailed it. Called my agent. They'll be calling in like 20 minutes. I was awesome. No phone call.
So you just never know. Like it's just totally an anxiety theater every time.
Yeah.
Like how do you combat that from every time? Like
as you get older, you just let it know. And these days you don't go in to read as much. These days they just want you to put it on tape. So there's sort of a positive and a negative to that, because they call you, they say, we saw your reel, we'd like you to read, put it on tape, send it to us. So you have the luxury of doing it really well and taking 170 takes of it until you get it right, if you want,
Okay.
But every other actor in town is also doing that.
Right.
So, it's like the competition has gotten even more stiff, because we all can put in, if you get the audition Monday and it has to be in Thursday, if you're lucky enough not to work a 9 to 5 and you've done decent with your life, or you're a rich kid, you've got rich parents or whatever, you've got those 4 days to really work on that. And maybe another actor has to work those 4 days and doesn't have that time. So there's positive and negatives to the new industry standard, but they don't call people in very much. It's a lot of tape these days. I don't know if that'll change after COVID really, really ends, or if they'll just keep. I think that's the new normal, is just to
probably the wave of
and
technology.
Casting directors, they don't have to do their job anymore. I mean, they still have to do their job. They've got to sift through all these tapes and pick the best ones. But there's a benefit as a producer and as a casting director to looking at tapes too. But there's negatives too, because I used to book roles, at least I thought I did. You never know, really, but I thought that I'm almost certain that I booked roles not because I read well, but because I had a good personality in the room, and I got along with the people in the room, and we had a good discussion about movies or about their movie and about what I could add to their movie. And maybe I read half-assed, but the discussion we had was clicking.
Right.
And they went, oh, I like that guy. I want to work with that guy. Like, he didn't do great, but he will. I can tell he will.
The chemistry,
the
that
chemistry in the
in-person
room.
bond you make.
Yeah.
That you think that will hurt the industry, really? The lack of in-person involvement?
Well, it'll stop guys like me that don't put very much effort into the read from getting jobs.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it probably will help the industry. But it won't help
Okay.
me. I'm terrible at putting myself on tape because when I read, I forget about the camera. I'm in the moment. But when I read on tape at home, there's just something different about it that isn't. It's not
It
like
feels weird or something.
it feels weird. Yeah, it's not like working on a set where there's cameras and there's pressure and there's the other actor giving you a wonderful performance off camera that you can react and be in the moment. You're just reading, looking at fucking nothing, or a friend of yours reading the lines, or sorry, I cussed again.
Bleep.
I've been pretty good. Is that
You have been. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
That's
I'm
like,
glad.
was that number 2? Because I
think that was 2. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I didn't even hear the first one. Okay.
I am a pretty filthy mouthed person, so I'm pretty surprised that hasn't happened more often.
We
I sure have
appreciate
talked
that.
a lot, though. I feel like I'm stepping on you guys all the time. I'm sorry.
No, I mean this is
No.
an interview, that's what happens.
This is all
We
about
talk
you.
More, we listen and we're like, man, this is cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is
We
really
appreciate
cool.
it. Since we're on a little bit of a break, let's say hi to the GilkMan,
Oh, hey,
Comics and
GilkMan.
Cosmetics.
What's up, GilkMan?
I usually call him the Milkman because that was my nickname for him when we first started.
Gilk.
It's weird.
Drink Gilk.
Drink Gilk. That's it. And R2 the Icky's here.
Hey, R2. And TD's here.
TD's here, and Matt Bigwig. He's been here, but he's been saying stuff. Comics and Cosmetics had a question for you.
Okay.
And she was wondering if she could get you on her show and talk about makeup, because that's what she does.
She said you followed her on Twitter.
Is she a special effects makeup person or a beauty makeup person, or what kind of makeup?
I think she does beauty.
She's a professional
mainly,
cosmetologist, but she's done
Yeah.
some other things, I believe. But,
Yeah, why not? I tell her, if she's listening, I'll do it.
She said you can cuss on her show all you want.
Oh, fantastic! She asked for it. She'll get me on the show, and it'll just be mother.
Bleep, 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 yeah. Nothing about makeup. All swear words.
L'Oreal, mother.
You do that really well, by the way.
Yeah, you keep yourself good.
Excellent.
And Matt Vader's on saying hi.
Hi, Matt.
What's up, Matt Vader?
Vader.
From Salty Nerd Podcast.
Salty nerd. A
That's
salty
it.
nerd.
We get a lot of other YouTubers that follow us, and we follow them, and that's basically how you grow,
I love nerds.
You were saying that you were trying to
Real
earn
nerds
your nerd
and nerds
card.
candy. My geek card.
Your geek
That's-
card. What do
yeah,
you think is going to
geek
help
card.
you earn that? Like,
I don't know. I think people see through it. I have this weird feeling that people just don't respect my geek card, because my girlfriend is my life mate, my wife, for lack of a better word. She is a super geek and a super fan and knows all the actors' names on all the different shows, and
Oh, that's cool.
and so she's really handy when we're producing stuff, because she's like, why don't you get him to play it or her to play it? And I'm like, who's that? Let me look it up. But I really don't like, I'm not a super fan, but I certainly love movies and I love TV. I'm really bad about knowing the actors and knowing who's working on it. She knows all the composers.
That's not really what makes you a geek or a nerd. A lot of times it's the paraphernalia for the fandom and everything like that.
But she knows the universe too. Like she'll know, she'll know exactly, like if it's the Mandalorian episode, whatever, she'll be like, that happened right before this happened and this happened.
Okay.
And this, she knows all the storyline and all the characters of all the aliens and their names. I see one of those aliens that drove one of the speeders or whatever. I don't know what the heck that guy's name is. She does, So that's why I say I don't have my geek card, because she'll be like, that's Joba Flabafett or whatever the heck.
Joba Flabafett. That might as well be called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that name. Let's write that down.
Yeah.
That would be the parody edition of this, Joba Flabafett.
But every single one of the characters in the background of Star Wars on all those movies, they have names, and she knows them all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you do that? I don't understand.
That's crazy. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a fan. You can't help it. Like it just somehow becomes your world, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is a cool world. I love it. I love Star Wars. But I don't know what those little bots that fix his. I don't even know the name of the girl that helps him, who's such a wonderful actress. That helps Mandalorian fix his ship, who gave him the super ship.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you know what the ship is called now?
Well, it
From
was a
episode
Naboo.
1.
It was a Naboo
Naboo.
starfighter, but
Yeah.
I don't know what
See,
it's
there
called
you
now.
go. It was a Naboo starfighter. See, I wouldn't have known that. I just,
That's funny.
it was his ship.
It does
That's
seem like
all
a
it
lot of actors and actresses, while they might play roles in these beloved franchises, they themselves have no interest in the actual fandom, or not the fandom, but in the franchise itself. Like they're just there to play the part, do the role. It's a job, but they don't know anything about the universe unless they decide to study it for the character. That seems to be a common theme.
I think that's true about a lot of shows and franchises. I don't think that's true about Star Wars, though. I think down deep, almost everybody is a Star Wars fan, and if they're saying that they're not, they're just lying. How could you not like Star Wars?
Yeah,
How could you
that's
not
true.
like Star
That's-
Wars? I mean,
that's
some
true.
of them.
Everybody's a certain type of fan. You know, you got the ones that are deeper, ones that are not as deep. You know.
Well, I mean, for example, no matter how you feel about her, but like Gina Carano knew basic, like two cents worth of Star Wars. Like she knew that there was. Huh?
Where's she from?
Where is she from? She's from
Gina
Texas.
Carano was.
Oh, she was in the Mandalorian. She was Cara Dune.
No, I know that. I'm just wondering how she didn't know about Star Wars. That's
like
crazy.
she knows about Star Wars. She knows it exists, and she knew the basic characters, but she doesn't really know anything. Like she admitted that she really doesn't know anything about Star Wars. And when she found out she didn't even realize what a huge fandom it had. And then all of a sudden, when she got involved with it, it just exploded. And she was like, "Man, I need to study because apparently this is a big deal to a lot of people." She had no idea how huge the fandom was.
I suppose I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know I mean, I knew Star Trek was Star Trek, but I didn't quite know what I was getting into when I took the job, as far as like how many people out there like just die hard love that show. But that's always like a wonderful thing to find out. I mean, some crazy things have happened to me just from being, I did that show for 2 years, 20 years ago. And, I can go to a convention in the middle of nowhere today and still get love from so many people. So it's crazy. And
once you're on one of those big franchises, you're in there for life, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't, I mean, I didn't know that going in, but I was young. How old is Gina? 35 or something?
She's 40.
She's 40. Wow. How did she not know what Star Wars is?
Just had no interest.
She was a fighter,
a lot of people don't have interest in science fiction or fantasy. They just live in the real world.
That's true. There are people that don't like sci-fi. That's true.
I mean, we don't understand these people, but I think since then she's kind of become a fan, but it's still like I think she might be kind of like you, where like she wants to have her geek card or her nerd card.
Yeah, but it's just never gonna happen.
Not exactly there.
By the way, everybody, if you are a sci-fi fan, try out these books, Ruins of the Galaxy. You'll love them.
Are they comics, graphic novels? What
they're actually just regular novels.
Oh, they're novels. Cool.
Yeah,
Ruins of the Galaxy.
Ruins of the Galaxy. Yeah, written by actually a good friend of mine. His name is Christopher Hopper, and that's they're thinking about doing a graphic novel. I sure hope they do.
That would be really cool.
It would be.
Oh,
is that a card? That's not a book. That's a card.
Yeah, that's a card. It's not
one of the cards from the books. Got it.
Yes.
Hey, salty nerd.
So,
thanks for stopping by.
There you have it.
We've just been chatting it up with. Let me see if I can say this right. It's been like an hour since you said it. It's Manu Intiraymi.
Pretty close. It's Manu Intiraymi.
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 So,
Intiraymi.
fell for it. I fell into the trap. I said it wrong.
It's all right.
That's what we do.
I respond to Manu blah blah blah. So
I like that. Great.
you get anywhere close to it, I'm all right with that. I even respond to Borg Boy. You know, back in the day, that people would like recognize me and they'd be like, "Hey," and they'd forget Icheb's name and they'd go, "Borg Boy."
Borg.
Yeah, that's me. Hi.
Get that on your license plate, like.
Yeah, Borg Boy. Yeah.
I should actually. That would be cool. I wonder if I could.
I'm sure
Seven.
you could. Unless
That's
it's not
7
already
letters.
taken.
Do they allow 7 letters?
It's supposed to be 7 letters.
Yeah, I could be Borg Boy.
You could do that.
Oh, I'm gonna try that.
We just gave you an idea. Do it. Do it. I'd love to see it.
So in Star Crew, the Zombots are actually called the Bjorn.
Oh, are they Nordic?
I knew nobody would get that joke. I knew it. I'm thinking of calling them that. There was this guy back in the day when John McEnroe was coming up in tennis. He was like the god of tennis, and his name was Bjorn Borg.
Okay.
Bjorn.
Okay.
Borg.
So I thought if we called them the Bjorn and they were Zombots and a little bit like the Borg, but we called ours the Bjorn, that nobody would really get it. You know?
Nice. That's
and
nice.
then somebody would go, I wonder, like somebody that was in the know of tennis in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always wondered if the Borg, I know they probably just took it from Cyborg. That makes the most sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But Bjorn Borg was a machine. He never lost his cool. He was just this diehard tennis player that was always focused, and they called him a machine. You know, they called him the machine. Mm. And John McEnroe was like this foul-mouthed, damn it, he was yelling at the judges, yelling at the crowd. He was the first tennis player to lose his cool and not be proper.
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered if they named the Borg after Bjorn Borg.
You have somebody
lost
says
you guys.
Deserve better.
Yeah, you did. But hey, you know what?
Thank you. You did deserve better. Right, CBS Paramount. Tell them. Hashtag bring back Icheb.
There you go.
That's right.
Through the multiverse.
That's right. Anything's possible now if you open up the multiverse. It's science fiction. You can do anything you want to. So, I did kind of have a strange question since we've kind of been talking a little bit behind the scenes of what actors' lives are like. Something I've always kind of wanted to ask, especially a male actor, is when it comes to like skincare, like how much time and investment do you have for like skincare? Like, you know, you see some pictures and they've got like, I think it was Chris Pratt the other day. He was like on a boat, got like this mask with lights on and all this kind of stuff. Like, how common is that? How much time do you invest in it? Are you guys always doing seaweed wraps on Thursdays? I mean, like.
I can't speak for everybody else, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah, most of us do. I mean, I like masks, and I recently actually got a bad facial, and you can see if you look close enough, they were really bad doing my eyebrows, and I've got this like sort of like rash from whatever.
Oh, like waxing, you mean?
Wax rash that they
like a burn. Yeah, I've had
yeah.
that
I did a
before.
facial and then got my eyebrows waxed, and I even got got my nose waxed too. And I've got this ugly beard, but that's for the vegan hitman.
Vegan hitman, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. We care about hair care, and you know, so many actors get not only like you know, lotions and all sorts of skincare, but they also, you know, cut themselves and get facelifts and eye jobs, and nose jobs, and all that stuff. I haven't chopped up my face yet, but I'm not against it.
To each their
I'm
own.
starting in my 40s to get these sort of like jowls that I didn't have before.
Yeah,
I think that there might be some point where like my eyes also are a lot droopier than they used to be. It's kind of depends on like how much I think if doing
you're
the
not
change,
20 anymore.
that's for sure. but I still have this sort of like when I shave, I sort of have a baby face still, so it's like an old baby face, and like old baby face. Yeah, it's kind of strange. So I think at some point I might do something like that, and most actors do at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them do it too much, and then the great ones, I think it's because the A-listers, they have access to such great surgeons that they, like Nicole Kidman, like she seems to do something different to her face for every movie. It seems like, like I remember once for one movie, she blew up her lips, and she had these big, when they put collagen in your lips.
Yeah.
And then the next movie that they were gone, and she was back to having her.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, you think about the fact that as you get older, it takes a little bit longer to heal as well. So it's like a lot of stress on the face, especially since it's thinner skin, especially as we get older, but it's more sensitive anytime. But as we get older, it is more sensitive.
It's scary to me too. And the expense and whether this one is going to go right, or,
I just take really showers every day. That's about it.
I don't shower.
Right, no shower. I bathe. Right.
Yeah. You know what they say? You know what they say about Brad Pitt?
Depends.
I don't know what they say.
You never heard that?
No.
Supposedly he's a stinky guy.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Supposedly he's a stinky man that doesn't shower very much.
Maybe
but that could be total baloney. That's just like somebody said it once, and then somebody copied it, and then somebody said it again, and then I said it, and then people were listening to this show heard it.
That's right.
And then
we're going to spread the word.
Yes.
And
Brad
truthfully,
Pitt, the stinky man.
if I ever get lucky enough to work with Brad Pitt, I'll probably walk up to him and he'll just smell wonderful, and I'll be like,
his pits, make sure he's okay.
It was all lies.
It might have been all about his name, just because his name is Pitt. People want to know that's stinky Pitts. Brad Pitt.
Yummy.
But I heard that a few times through the grapevine and various stupid gossip corners. And recently I was watching that movie with Brad Pitt in it, and he's so wonderful and he's funny. Lost City, I think it's called, with Sandra Bullock.
Channing Tatum,
yeah, he's hilarious in that movie.
I heard it was good.
I haven't seen it yet.
I sort of doubt that one's true, but like there are rumors that are definitely true.
Oh, of course. There's usually a grain of truth in every rumor, so.
Yeah, maybe Brad Pitt on one particular movie. Actually, this is my theory, actually. Do you remember the movie where he played the killer that had, oh man, that movie was so good. What was it called? He did this. He did that all the time. He went.
I can't say I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan, so I'm not.
Oh man, he played a murderer. Maybe? It's like a 20-year-old film. It was such a good film. But he played this like really, really like super hick, really dumb from the South. How about a bowl of chili kind of guy? And maybe he got into the part and was like, didn't shower and ate chili and drank Budweiser and didn't brush his teeth and like really ate
a bunch of onions.
Ate a bunch of onions every day, yeah. And maybe the people that worked on that particular film were like, dude, that guy doesn't bathe. But maybe he was doing it for the character.
Right.
And then that followed him the rest of his
commitment,
And people do that, like if you watch, for instance, if you watch Joker, you both seen Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker?
No, yes, I have.
I know.
You haven't seen it?
You haven't seen it yet?
Okay.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I mean, it was good, but it was okay. I mean, I'm
phenomenal film.
That Manu gave me the Will Smith treatment here on.
Yes, that was a phenomenal movie. I'm smacking you both for you calling it okay and for you not seeing it. That movie is so good.
I'm gonna go tell my friends about this moment.
Man, Joaquin, like,
I like him. I like Joaquin Phoenix. He's a great actor. I love his acting.
In order for him to give that performance, he had to be somewhere else. I mean, I thought it was better. Sure. I thought it was better than Heath Ledger's, and Heath killed himself giving that performance.
Yeah.
he was in a dark place for that film, and it's such a ride through. You sort of feel what it's like to completely lose your mind watching Joaquin become Joker, and the stuff that it's one of those films that I thought was going to incite violence, because it was such a.
Oh.
I thought I'm pretty stable. I mean, I'm not that stable, but I'm not like totally crazy.
Yeah.
and I was sitting in that film, and I was like, wow, if I was any crazier than I am, like, this movie might trigger something in me.
Oh God.
That movie really affected me. I thought
maybe
it's
good I haven't seen this film.
Oh, it's a hard
Like
movie
going
to sit through.
killing
It really
sprees.
is.
After seeing it.
Yeah. I
That'd be funny.
go see the movie, and then the next day she's like,
You'd be like, and I am not responsible for the outcome
the
of your
movie made me do
emotional
it.
stability. Yeah, stability. I can't get my words out.
Yeah. But it was such a good film at making you feel crazy and uncomfortable that it should have had.
That's exactly what I want out of my movie experience, is crazy and uncomfortable.
That's it.
There's different types of people. That's my favorite kind of movie. Movies that make me feel like really, really awful inside and tense. Those are my favorites.
Because there's like a connection, like it's real. I can see that.
It's so visceral that I mean, Joker got my pulse pounding and made. I actually was listening to the audience in the theater, and I was wondering, like when somebody made a noise, I was like, is that guy gonna pull out a gun? Like,
oh wow.
it was that scary. It was that powerful, at least in the movie theater. I don't know. I haven't watched it at home, but I felt like somebody was going to go postal in there. I walked out of that theater shaking. I got in my car and I was going to drive home, and I went, no, you're not like stable enough to drive right now. I was still feeling just the emotions from that film. I had
Dan
to just
probably
chill.
went to go McDonald's, just had a burger, and he was like, "That's all right."
It was all right.
It's all right.
All right.
Half-assed.
That's funny. The two different points of view of the same movie, like.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's how movies are, though. You know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
I guess I just don't. I know how freaking difficult it is to make even one scene play right.
Yeah.
To get the sound right, to get the wardrobe, to get the actors right, to get the lighting, to make it all work and make it feel like a true moment. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly difficult. So when people pull it off and pull it off well, I'm just floored by it. But I'll still nitpick things too, you know. There's, but 80, like, all right, for instance, the new Batman. Did you guys see the new Batman?
I did see that one. I did see that one.
I thought that movie was brilliant. Just this slow crawl, and I haven't.
A lot of people liked it. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it, but I've heard a lot of people that were like, "Oh, it was boring." And for me, I was like, "What was boring about how beautiful that was?" It felt real. It felt like Batman was young and just getting his wings, so to speak.
Right, because it was only like a second year doing it or something.
Yeah, Colin Farrell was amazing as Penguin.
He was. I had no idea that was him until I think after I saw the movie.
Dude,
like, who was that guy?
And the way it was shot was every scene was so gorgeous, and it was that sort of like detective noir sort of feel.
I did like that. Yeah.
Oh, I loved that film.
Great.
The music was good. I never thought that. I love Paul Dano too. I think Paul Dano is just an incredible actor that doesn't even the respect that he's garnered. I don't think that kid gets enough respect. He's wonderful in everything he does. That movie blew my mind, and I was a fan of the Chris Nolan Batmans, so I thought there's never going to be a Batman that will be that real. But I felt like this one actually felt more real than even those films.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way to do Batman. Like, I like all the other Batmans. I like all, I'm just a fan of Batman. But
I like the way they did the costume in that one too.
Yeah, the costume was cool.
And the boots.
Pretty
the boots.
Everybody's talking about the boots.
That was like
all the guys were talking about the boots. I'm like, I've never heard a bunch of men talk more about shoes in my life than when this movie came out.
I want to get that bat suit. It's so
I'm just
macho.
saying. Like,
I love those boots. I would actually love to have a pair of tactical boots like that. That'd be sweet.
It was bitching. And it was cool to see all the tactical gear that he was using.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just a fan. Matt Reeves just killed it. And then but the other day, some kids were walking down the street just knocking the movie, and I was overhearing them.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Did you
"Shut
walk
up!
over and
You
go,
don't." I said, "Shut up! You don't know what the fuck I did. You don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, let me see your version of Batman, you punk.
Exactly.
That's funny. So that being said, what is your favorite movie of all time?
That's impossible. People ask that question, and I don't understand how you can actually have an answer for it, because there's so many good movies out there.
Do you have a top 3?
No, I mean I can name some movies that I love, but as far as like this movie is better than any other movie in the world, no. I love Pulp Fiction. I love Aliens. I love. Oh my God, what's the name of that movie? It's so great. What's the movie with Tom Cruise where he's like the pitch guy? Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts that I don't know the name of that. No, he plays this long-haired pitch guy that's like trying to sell guys on how to screw women over and break their hearts.
I don't know that.
I don't know.
Oh my God. It's one of my favorite movies. It's definitely one of like my top 20 favorite films. So I'm going to find the name of it really quickly, because it's going to drive me nuts.
I know what that feels like.
Yeah. It was back in the day. It was a while ago. So it was called, I love Collateral. That was, Minority Report.
Minority Report.
Come on.
That's
pretty, that was good, yeah.
Magnolia was the name of the film.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
But then I love movies like Being John Malkovich. I love Star Wars. I love. There's so many.
Braveheart?
Braveheart's great. Come on.
Yes.
Braveheart is great. I love Mel Gibson. I really want to try to get him for Star Crew. We made an offer recently.
Oh, that'd be cool.
A big name actor that I don't want to say because I don't want to jinx it. But he's Mel's on my list. He would be great as our captain, because he can play that sort of neurotic, pissed off at Hollywood sort of. But then also, yeah, he probably is. But then he can also play the like rugged starship captain too. So I need somebody that can do both of those things.
He could definitely do that. Yeah, kind of the way that Tim Allen does in Galaxy Quest. He could totally be like a
Galaxy Quest is one of my top 50 favorite movies. It would actually make the list. Yeah.
Tim Allen's he's such a good actor too. I like Tim Allen.
Well, him and Sigourney Weaver, they just act so well together. They've been in several movies together, and they're just good together, no matter what the role.
Ex Machina. Have you ever seen Ex Machina?
I've never even heard of it.
Amazing. And then I like some of the oldies too. Like one of my favorite movies is Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I can watch that movie over and over again for some reason.
Oh my gosh.
It's just about a bunch of guys that go up looking for gold and end up killing each other over it. It's a Bogart movie.
Oh,
it's a fantastic movie. Oh, and some of those old westerns,
John
like
Wayne movies,
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and The Searchers. Yeah, those are great films.
Yeah,
I love westerns. I'm a huge fan of westerns, but I love all genres. The only genre that I don't really like is musicals. There's a couple that are wonderful. But mostly I don't like them.
Yeah.
Every once in a while they make one that my girlfriend makes me watch them all. So usually I don't like musicals, but every once in a while she shows me one and I'm like, oh, that was really good.
Yeah.
You're right. Get you in the feels.
Yeah. The last one that got me in the feels was that one with Wolverine and the
Hugh Jackman.
Les Miserables.
The show. Showman.
The
Great Showman. That was
that was a good one.
That was a good musical. And when that redheaded girl that he can't date because he's with his woman sings that song about
oh my gosh,
chills
every time. I mean, I watched that and I get they got chills on my legs. Like I was like, oh my god,
in your legs.
Yeah,
I did.
And the way they shot it too, it's such a brilliant movie. Just like the way they shot the circus and all the camera.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, beautifully made.
So every once in a while, a musical gets me, but for the most part, I'm not a fan.
He did another musical that wasn't that great. What was the name of that one? Les Miserables, or
Les Miserables.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you
Les
say it.
Miserables. Yeah.
I hated that
I'm-
movie.
I
Good
wasn't
job,
a
but
big
I
fan
wasn't
of that one.
expecting it to literally be singing the entire time.
The entire time. Yeah, that was.
So
I
that
think
did
that's
get
what
a little
killed it
draggy
for me.
because I'm like, okay, I need you to talk right now. Like, please stop singing.
Yeah. It was gorgeous. It was
Yeah.
shot beautifully.
Yes,
and
it
all
was.
that money was spent, but those songs kind of suck. And
They're not
I
something
mean,
you sing in the shower or on the way to work. You know, they're just
No.
Right.
You know.
It'd be like if we just decided to make a musical right now and we just sang every single word or question we asked.
in song
It
form.
would just
It
be.
just,
I don't think people would like that.
No.
I know I wouldn't. I'm
No.
not that clever.
I've never liked. I've never liked Les Mis. I saw it as a kid in New York on stage. I didn't like it then. I didn't like it when they made the version where they just talked. I didn't like that one either.
I did like that.
I kind of did like that one a little bit better.
It was better than
Liam
the singing
Neeson.
one.
Yeah, with
I
Liam
liked it with
Neeson.
Liam
That's-
Neeson.
I
That
think
was
that's why I liked it.
It's not
I
my
liked
favorite
But it-
movie, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. There you
And
go.
at the same time, you can't knock the quality of the film. It's just
Right.
not my cup of tea.
Exactly. There's a certain respect that you can give to people for the production quality, and the acting
Yeah.
is just not something that you
And that
personally
actress
gravitate
that I'm not a really a big fan of that actress. That
What,
was in
Anne
that
Hathaway?
movie. I don't like Anne Hathaway. Something about her. I mean,
Mhm.
if she's listening or she ever knows, I'm sorry, but she has some kind of thing about her that just turns me off. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure she wouldn't like me either. So there you go.
Who knows? Maybe you guys.
We
like
have
each other
her on-
in person.
inside
Maybe
the
we
booth.
meet
Well,
and suddenly it would just click.
It clicks and you're like,
and
good-
I'm like,
best
dude,
buddies here.
yeah, I hated you and you're a wonderful person.
Right.
Exactly. You never know.
You never know. Oh my gosh. That'd be funny. So.
Yeah, I just love movies. Anytime I see a Dune this year, oh, Dune was so cool.
It was good. The music, the sound effects, amazing.
I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble when I speak my real mind.
Oh,
But
that's all right.
this year,
we don't care here.
until I say something and it comes on, goes on social media forever and ever and ever, and they take another job from me. No.
I'm not bitter.
What was I? Yeah. What was I gonna say?
We were talking about Dune, and I had mentioned the music and the sound effects. And you said,
the Academy. What a joke. I mean,
Oh.
seriously. The Academy Awards are getting so stupid.
Oh
yeah,
the Academy
they're not
Awards,
worth
yeah.
watching. They're not real. Like, it's just not
No,
real.
Coda?
think-
Are you kidding me?
I never
Coda?
watched them in the first place.
The
I don't-
best film of the year, Coda.
Never even
Did
heard
you
of
see
it.
that movie?
The only reason why I watched anything of the Academy Awards this last time was because of Will Smith and.
Was it the Oscars?
Oh no, that was the Oscars.
That was the Oscars.
But
Same
even
thing.
still,
That's
I don't watch
okay.
either one of those. The only reason I knew the Oscars were on because all of a sudden social media is blowing up because of Will Smith and Chris Rock. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
the Oscars
slapping
are on.
Chris Rock. Yeah. Ooh.
All I gotta say about
Missed something.
that particular, those two men handled it perfectly. None of our business.
That's right.
Shut up already.
Doesn't bother my life. I mean,
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
I told people, I'm like, look,
There-
Alec Baldwin shot a man, and he's
woman.
still
Got a woman and a
or
man.
excuse, that's what it's
Killed a
he
woman
shot,
and a man.
he shot somebody and killed them. He seems to be doing okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Will Smith will be fine.
Yeah.
Just saying.
For
Pretty
slapping.
sure Chris Rock is going to be okay. But I
Yeah.
don't even want to talk about it. But I thought those two guys were as classy as they could be about it. It's nobody's business. It's a guy slapping another guy. Give me a break.
Right.
Yeah.
Leave it
Probably
alone.
shouldn't have happened, but you know what?
But whatever. It's just
Yeah,
like,
whatever.
that happens all the time. My
It's
friends
Hollywood.
My friends punch me in the nuts all the time, and I just love them.
Need new friends.
Yeah. They think that's
I think
like
you
a
need to
fun
pick some
thing
new
to
friends
do.
there.
Well, they do. I mean, if we go to a bar, we're out drinking. It's like, hey,
Right,
good night,
right.
buddy. Wham! And I'm you son of a bitch. I don't call the police or go on social media.
Right.
That's the problem with celebrity, man. You just
Mm.
one little mistake and they're ready to destroy you. All
Yeah.
that Will Smith has given us, and all the guy does is slap his friend Chris Rock, and we can't forgive him for that. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like what they did with Mel Gibson, you know?
Yeah,
he
said a
made
couple
some-
of racist things to a cop.
and then nobody ever forgave him again after that. I mean,
was it
even
for
now
him.
he gets still flack from that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the heck? What happened to forgiveness and love? You know?
No, and I actually know a Jewish guy who's a very famous producer who knows Mel Gibson very well, and Mel Gibson is not an anti-Semite, and he is
Oh.
not. He was drunk and he was angry, and some bigoted shit came out of his mouth. I mean,
he just finished that movie, The Passion of the Christ. So who knows what was going through his head at that time? You know?
Yeah, he could have been super hating the Jews at that point, right? You killed my person, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, he could have been hating himself too at the same time.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he probably
our
was.
sins
He was
basically did that. So it's like crazy.
That was a great film, man. I mean,
was.
I'm not even like a Christian, but that was a wonderful movie. That was a heavy duty movie.
Well,
Mel
again,
Gibson has made such good
it.
films.
Yeah.
Think about the different films that he's directed. Like you got Dream. What was the one you just mentioned with the
Passion?
Freedom.
Oh yeah, Braveheart.
Braveheart, and then that movie about the Mayans. Did you ever see that movie? Apocalypto. That movie's wild.
Yeah.
And Passion of the Christ. I mean, Mel Gibson is what a director. And then just because of one little bigoted action, which I think we're all guilty of at some point in our life.
Oh yeah.
Well, it depends on who you talk to, because people have gotten so sensitive. Things that at one point weren't such, if you will, crass language or a big deal at one point, now all of a sudden everything, you really have to tiptoe, and so you don't even really know what to say or how to talk to people anymore.
I hate these kids. I hate them.
Yeah.
I consider myself sort of, I cross the party lines. I'm not conservative, but I consider myself more of a liberal than I do a conservative. But my own people are the ones that came out and just ate me when I, said the bad thing about Spacey. That's the problem with the far liberal left is they have to mind their P's and Q's so much that it's like, what? Seriously? You're not going to forgive Will Smith for slapping somebody? Yeah. End his career. Take everything from him.
Right.
Well, there are far worse things happening.
Yeah. I just hope he deals with whatever's going on emotionally with him. That's all.
Yeah, the guy made a joke about his wife who had a disease, and I would have got pissed too. I mean, I might not have walked up on stage and slapped him, but if I did, I would hope that my good friend, who's a comedian, would have just done exactly what Chris Rock did, which was go, "Holy shit! I just got slapped the shit out of by Will Smith." It was a classic reaction. This was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah.
Whoa! Wasn't expecting that. On with the show.
In my opinion, I would expect somebody, talk to me after the show or whatever, and let's hash things out and talk like normal.
There's
humans.
always things you could have done better when you blow it. But people got to do a better job on the internet of forgiving people for their mistakes. It's like you can do one wrong thing and a whole slew of people will judge you and your character by that one action instead of all the other things that you've done in your life. They'll just put you in that little box, and then these people on Twitter that start these destroy, cancel this person, stop
Twitter's
just because they don't like them. They have no validity to their accusation, but it's just, I don't like you, so I'm going to spew hatred, and it's just.
Yeah. I loved watching people squirm when Elon Musk was in the process of buying Twitter. Everybody was squirming.
They thought it was the end of the world.
It was fun to watch, man. Yeah. I mean, now he's questioning buying it, but it was fun while it lasted.
I loved reading the articles about really what is the freedom of speech when it comes to a multinational conglomerate corporation that can't actually have freedom of speech in some of the countries that it's used in.
Right.
I thought that was sort of fascinating. That sure, he can give American Twitter users freedom of speech, but he can't do the same thing for, Saudi Arabia or Iraq or
Korea,
North Korea. Yeah, I'm going to change the rules there. No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Change the rules in China. Whoa!
And plus, there was a war on at the time, right? When Will did that, wasn't the Ukraine getting invaded? And people are talking about
Yeah,
a
people
slap.
are
Oh,
talking
we
about
don't we don't talk about that anymore because it's not popular.
it. Yeah,
It's not a popular
exactly.
trend anymore. This
Yeah.
destruction and
Yeah.
devastation of these countries. Like, it's not
Yeah.
cool about that anymore. We don't
Well,
we don't put
that-
the
We don't.
That
yeah,
war
it-
has been going on for 10 weeks now.
yeah.
exactly. We need a new crisis to rally
But
around.
if you look into it, the war's been going on for years.
Oh, for
But
years.
nobody wants to talk about it.
Right.
They don't want to talk about when it started back in 2000. What was it? 14, even maybe before that.
I think he invaded Georgia in 2014 or 2004.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But,
Yeah, something.
but he's been taken back and annexing Crimea. He's been messing.
Oh yeah, this
around
is
with
nothing new for over there.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is
Yeah,
this is
this
for
is nothing
years.
new.
These people
No.
have been duking it out and battling, and I mean,
Yeah,
like, it's just
exactly.
crazy. I mean,
I love that the Ukraine is kicking ass still. I think it's great.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah. When any authoritarian invades a country, I'm always like just a fan of the people that stick it out.
Mhm.
Because I know that we would. That's why I know.
Right,
I'm
we
pretty
would.
certain that America won't ever be invaded by anyone unless weapons change or something from space, maybe. Because we
Well,
all have
unless it's,
guns. Like you're fighting every
unless-
citizen in that place if you invade our
Yeah.
nation.
Right.
Exactly. Unless it's Red Dawn, you know, like.
Yeah.
Red Dawn, yeah.
No.
Well, I was gonna say, unless we crumble from within, our government is not doing so hot.
Yeah. Democracies tend to fail, so we'll see.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's interesting. Depends on how the people. It's the people will get what they ask for in the end.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
I
up to
hope
the
I hope
people.
we stick it out. Yeah.
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 I voted in my local election this year. Did you guys?
Oh yeah, I vote all the time.
Vote.
I've been
man.
voting since I've been 18. Oh
Right
yeah.
on.
That's right.
Right on. And your local stuff too, and your
Oh
in your
yeah,
local
even in
area?
my local stuff. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
I
was
did
thinking
it.
of running for mayor soon because man, this
Right on.
mayor that we have sucks.
Do it, Dan.
Do it, Dan.
Do it. So then I will be the owner of this little town I live in called Dansville. Dan,
You wouldn't
from
be the
Dansville, mayor.
You can be the owner. You're not
Well, I
buying
know I would be the
You're
owner.
being
The
voted
mayor,
you know.
the mayor
But it'd be
doesn't.
my town.
it. There you go.
The mayor doesn't
Dan.
suddenly get everybody's deeds to their house.
Darn.
Dan of
Damn it! What was I
Dansville.
running for?
Yeah,
thought I-
exactly.
I thought I got this place.
I thought it was
He's like, I
mine now.
quit. This isn't what I
I
thought.
like giving us this crappy key to the city. Son of a bitch.
It means
Somebody else
nothing.
want this job? There's got to be another Dan in town. Here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
What am I looking at? Hey, we've been chatting for a while, guys. Jesus.
Oh yeah, we have been. Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah.
good Christmas.
$1.47. That's because I talk too much.
Yeah, you don't talk.
Well,
too
it's been
much.
an enjoyable interview.
We all-
It's been
yeah,
very
it's
insightful,
very
very funny.
enjoyable, yeah.
Funny.
Funnery?
Thank-
It's funnery.
I know.
Uh-oh.
My words just kind of
Funny.
slipped.
It must be getting late for Tabitha.
Sorry.
So in Eastern Standard Time, it is 11:17 right now. Past a lot of
Oh,
people's
wow.
bedtimes, I guess.
Yeah, I see some
Everybody's-
folks leaving.
People are like, "Good night."
Good night. Good night, guys. So,
All
well,
right.
Dan, I'm all out of questions. Just letting you know.
All right. Me too. You're frozen just a little bit there, Manu.
That's his
Can
thinking
you-
pose.
There's a sticking coat post. See, you still there with us?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
We talked about having no more questions. He's like, I'm out. Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
We were having too much fun. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go.
Sorry, guys. My computer died. I'm a moron.
Oh no, it's all right. You were just kind of frozen for a long time, and we were like, "Uh-oh, I think we lost them."
Yeah, the computer. I told you I was going to get enough power to last, but it died.
Yeah.
Come on,
It was a sign. So,
Whoa. I don't have to wear headphones anymore.
there you go.
Look at that. Huh?
Oh,
Isn't
Oh,
that
nice.
beautiful?
Is that your fridge?
Yeah.
nice
beautiful.
assortment.
See all this stuff that you have to do? Blueberries. There's salad. There's leafy green vegetables. Look at that. Ew.
Ew.
Now that looks a little weird. You should have shook that up.
Yeah, there
There
you
you
go.
go. And
There
a
you
Diet
go.
Coke.
And a Diet Coke. And this is what I'm actually getting.
Are you gonna?
Bam.
You're going vegan yourself? Are you for the role?
I actually have been eating at the local vegan restaurants, and I have been trying not to eat meat, but I failed.
That's all right. Meat, good to eat.
In my heart, I actually am a vegan. I think mankind will be better off if we decide to stop breeding animals for slaughter. I think it'll help us, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do it.
Right. I like myself a nice steak. You know.
I really like fried chicken.
Oh,
Exactly.
there you go. Fried chicken's good. Yeah.
Oh man, fried chicken! You just pour all that like hot sauce all over it.
I like grilled chicken. Right on the grill, put barbecue sauce and stuff on it.
Yeah,
That's good. Barbecue chicken.
good stuff.
Good stuff. Well, I guess we can be done if you're all right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for the chat. Definitely.
This was a
we
good
appreciate you. We'll definitely try to get you back on another time.
Cool.
And because this was a fun chit chat, wasn't even.
I mean, I
much
was
of an
virtually
interview.
slapped by a celebrity. I feel
I
like
know,
I
right?
may
Oh,
never
man.
wash my face again.
That's right. That's right. You got some Star Trek
That's right.
slaps.
Just on my face there.
Some Borg slaps there.
I got slapped by Borg Boy.
Borg boy. Would love to see that on your license plate.
I'm gonna
If you do
actually
it,
try
you're gonna
for
have
it.
to take a snapshot and send it to me.
I'm gonna try for it. Next
You
year,
should.
I'll try to get a personalized plate. See if they give it to me.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tabitha.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Before we go, Sketchy Guy is on. He says the both scare healed up.
I think it's supposed to be the Booth scar healed up nicely, but I still don't know what that means either. So.
The
Yeah.
Borg star?
Oh, maybe that's what it was. Borg
maybe that.
scar?
Maybe it's supposed to be Borg scar. Yeah. There you
I
go.
had a little thing on my eye, and it's
Right.
not there.
It's not there anymore. Jeez.
Well,
He
at
had
least
scars here and here and here too. But if you'll notice, for some reason, like the 4th or 5th episode, they disappear. He just heals or something.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
magic. Disney. It's a cinema magic right there.
It's the nanoprobes in his blood, I think. They just repaired him.
There you go. That's what it was. Well, hey,
That might be
everybody
hard.
who is just now joining us, come and rewatch what we just did. We got about almost 2 hours worth of
Of awesome
talking. Footage, yeah, whatever it is.
Well, whenever this goes, gets put on the regular
when we
channel.
hit, when we hit the stop button.
Yeah.
So thank you, Manu, for coming on. Everybody
Anytime.
watching, thank you for being here.
You can
And
find
we'll
his
see-
links in the description box below, where you can follow him.
Yes.
Yeah, follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram, even though they took my Instagram for some reason. But
Oh, they did.
I'm on the
Crazy.
Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. And keep an eye out for Star Crew late next year.
Yes,
will
we'll
be.
do that.
I
Now,
will be.
before we go, do you still do like some Twitter Spaces once in a while still?
Yeah, every Sunday
Oh.
night at 7, I do Dangerous Thoughts with Manu and Tyson. We just pick a topic and we talk about it and have a few guest speakers and just basically clear the air and talk from our hearts. And usually we get in a little bit of trouble. So Dangerous Thoughts is every Sunday night, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
All right.
On
all right.
Spaces on my Twitter at Manuintiraymi.
All right. So you heard that there, folks. If you want to go chat or listen to his talking and stuff, just go over there.
Dangerous Thoughts.
So,
Dangerous Thoughts.
Dangerous Thoughts. That's right.
I've got a great co-host because I'm sort of a numbnuts and don't know very much vocabulary. I don't know how I'm an actor, but
They give you words to say.
yeah, they
give you
write
words.
my words for me. But Tyson's a really kind of a smart human being, so it's a fun duo,
Yes.
sort of like you guys.
All right. Oh, that's good. That's good.
I won't say
we
who's
try.
who.
We try. We got Whitey Wicked Workshop saying no. Was it Nanu? But he goes no. Manu.
He's just being silly.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you're doing the.
I don't
Star
remember
Trek
Nanu. Was that it? I don't
That
remember.
that was from Star Wars, I think.
No, Nanu was
This
from
is Star Trek, Dan.
Well, this is from Star Trek, but
Well, yeah, this is from Star Trek. Yeah.
Nanu was from that Robin Williams show, Mork and Mindy.
Oh, was it?
That's what he used to say to. It was like his hello, I think, or something like that. He would go Nanu.
Oh, right. Huh. Interesting.
Who just said that?
Whitey
Dave
Wicked
from
Workshop.
Whitey Wicked Workshop.
He's a Star Wars room builder.
Whitey Wicked. Oh, cool. Well, what do you mean? Like he builds? What builder?
He's a Star Wars room builder. He's a prop builder. He just builds a lot of stuff.
He has a YouTube channel where he
makes
amazing crafts, and his room is amazing. It looks like a set of Star Wars. It's absolutely phenomenal.
If you build any original stuff, contact me, Manuintiraymi@gmail.com. We need some props for my movie, Star Crew.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe if
I know a couple people. You want me to send them your way?
Yeah, if they want to fabricate some cool phasers for us that aren't from another show, that are actually like original looking, we would love that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Right. Sweet.
Yeah. We know some people.
And we'll throw your name out and give you credit and all that. So,
Sweet.
Yeah, send them over.
We'll do that.
It's good talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, good talking to you too. Everybody else out there, thanks. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Oh, he left.